Hello, hello, hello. Welcome in. This is Birds of a Feather Podcast with your boy Q City.
Your boy Todd Bravado.
And this is episode 73, Kirko Chainz, bro. We're going to talk about Kirk's huge day versus the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. We're going to talk about what's going on next week versus the Falcons. Check in on what's all around and in division, and then some city talk at the end. So come along with us. Enjoy this ride, right? Now, before we get started, y'all may have noticed when you linked into the podcast, you heard some ads at the beginning. There will be ads within the middle. That change in what you're hearing is because we are newly signed members of Fans First Sports Network, FFSN. We are official members of the Sports Network. Birds of a Feather is moving up in the world, and really excited to join their team. How does that change for you as a listener? It shouldn't be too much. You'll have 4 pre-rolls. You might have some ads at the end that you don't have to stay and listen to if you don't want to, but you will have a mid-roll ad every now and then, right? This is a huge opportunity for us as it allows us to collaborate with a bunch of members all across the network. It allows us to market and grow our podcast a bit more, and just really, really excited about moving forward in this capacity. What about you, Taj?
No, I mean, you pretty much said everything that needed to be said for me. I'm excited for the growth, new opportunities. Yeah, let's just run it up.
All right, there we go. You said new opportunities and he froze for a second.
Oh no, yeah, it's a new opportunity, and let's just run it up.
Hey, that's the plan. That's the plan. All right. So getting into last week versus the Bucks, big win. Kirko Chainz. But hey, my man's came through. 42 of 58 for 4 touchdowns, 1 interception. It happens. Kind of didn't see the guy. Bijan, 12 for 61. London, 12 for 154 and a tutty. Mooney, 9 for 105, 2 tutties. And my boy Pitts had almost 80 yards on 7 catches.
No, he had 88.
He had 88 yards on 7 catches. My fault. Yeah. So this offense went bananas. Like walk-off touchdown, 36-30. It was, bruh, I loved everything about this game. We were living and dying on it, screaming at the TV down to the last second. It's like that meme. I ain't gonna lie, you had us in the first half, right? Because Baker, he only threw for 180 yards, but he had 3 touchdowns. You know what I'm saying?
All in the first half.
Evans had all in the first half. Evans had 5 for 62, 2 touchdowns. White and Irving combined for 116 yards on 19 carries. So I just go up to 20 on that one. They averaged about like 5 and some change, almost 6 yards per carry. But all of that was really first half stuff, because in the second half, our defense only allowed 9 points.
Yeah.
Or was it 6 points? I think it was 6 points.
6 or 9.
Yeah, I think it was 6 points. Our defense really tightened up, stepped up in the second half.
Yeah, no, yeah, it was 6. Yeah,
it was 6, right? Because they had 24.
Yeah, so, they were 20. Yeah.
So this is the type of offense I love to see. That's the type of defensive effort I love to see. The team step up. The receivers really stepped up. This is what it looks like to have an NFL quarterback. Kirk was really. You can't call those primetime Kirk jokes anymore, because he showed up in primetime. I have absolutely loved watching him outside of the Steelers game. That Eagles game really does feel like it saved the season a bit. And I know that's dramatic and it was early, but like that was a big turning point in like, yo, we can believe in this team. We can believe in this guy. And like, you're starting to see the fruits of that confidence come, not only in his body, but in his understanding of the offense, in his receivers. I absolutely love this game. Where were you at, Tosh?
So what was I?
Yeah.
Stressed. I was in a state of stress. Yeah, I was in a major state of stress. You know, the game. I ain't gonna lie to y'all. I turned the game off when Kirk threw the pick. I turned it back on, but
He did.
I
He
I
did.
I took me like a cool like 2 minute break. I was like, man, bump this, and I'm just sitting up just like, man, let me turn this back on because who knows what might happen. To my surprise, when I turned the game back on, it's what, second and 25. I'm like, and then we got another stop. I'm like, wait a minute. And then Kirk Cousins executed probably one of the best 1 minute drives I've done seen.
Yes. Yes. To get cool into position?
Yes,
Absolutely.
'cause the guts to throw that slant play to Drake London and still be able to get the dang ball off and spike it with 1 second left. The cojones.
So I actually want to talk. I want to talk to you about that one because there was a lot of discourse right after the game, and this is just internet niggas online talking or whatever. Was that because you had just made a very long field goal under similar conditions the previous week to win the game? It was almost a smarter move to either throw the ball away or throw it toward the sideline and then just walk Koo out there. And for me in that situation, I think you gained like 12 yards on that slant.
Yeah, there was a considerable amount of yards, even though we
And
got a
and that
5 yard penalty that knocked it back to a 52 yard. And I
not
also want to talk about. I also, yeah, no, because the penalty, but I also want to talk about the delayed game. That shouldn't have been a delayed game. The ref was sending over the ball the whole time.
no, and Raheem was losing his crap. But just to stick on the field goal point before we move to that one. In that situation, had Kirk missed that throw, or so just think about it like 7 yards. Had Kirk missed that throw, or he threw like toward the sideline, or however that happened, right? You Koo just hit 57. Just hit 57 was his career wrong. Now you're asking him to hit 59 just to send you to overtime. That ball's gotta come out lower than it does at 52 or even 46, or 47, which it was after that slant. That makes no sense to me. Like super long field goals to win the game or send you to overtime. Yes, it's good because you're in that position, but like as a point of reference, if I can kick a 45 yarder, bro, I'm gonna kick a 45 yarder. What good does it do me? What good does
Right.
it do me to throw the ball to the sideline or keep the ball in play? Like another thing was like, oh, if you were confident that you could, get up and spike the ball, why don't you just run it right toward the middle? And I was like, bro, I used to play defense. I'm gonna lay on you. I'm gonna lay on you, bro. And I'm a struggle getting up. You know what I'm saying? I'm gonna let them pull the pile apart. I'm gonna waste as much time as possible, bro. Because once the clock hits zeros, the only thing you can do about it is whine. That was, like you said, it was a lot of kahunas, but it was a smart play. It was a smart play call. It was great execution to get up there and spike the ball immediately. And then on to your next point, that wasn't no delay game. That wasn't no delay game. And I see why Raheem lost his stuff.
Yeah, because at first, I was like, well, damn, what the hell y'all doing? And then I seen the clip of it on Twitter that the ref was just standing over the ball. He never moved.
He
Like,
never
so,
moved. He never moved. And the special teams was set. Koo was in his routine.
yeah, they were out there ready. Cool's doing his sidestep, all that. And the ref just standing there. Move out the way so we can kick this ball and go to OT.
So my understanding of the situation was that Atlanta had a later than usual substitution, and the ref was standing over the ball to allow the Saints to allow the Bucks to substitute. That was the explanation that was given.
But that still don't make no
I
sense.
I watched the all 22, right? I don't feel like that's free promo. NFL Plus for you guys, because like I've gotten that question where you see the all 22. NFL Plus, you can get it. You can get most of it. They usually release it like if you play on Sunday at the 1 o'clock game, you can usually get it by like Tuesday morning.
Yeah,
You know what I'm saying? If you play the
Tuesdays is
Monday
when it's
game, you can
available.
usually get it like Wednesday. Yeah, you usually get it like Wednesday. But regardless, you watch all 22. I see the substitution that they're talking about. That substitution occurred at 27, 26 seconds, if I'm not remembering incorrectly. It's like 27, 26 seconds. And it was the backup tight end. So it was just like an edge blocker, right? So the only thing that the Saints would have had to do in that situation was sub in a DB, which is what they ended up doing. Why did that take you 27 seconds?
Right. Yeah.
And
Right.
even
You
and
can't
I
ding
think
us
that
for that.
DB got in. Well, the DB, so it was Atlanta sideline switch that tackle out for that tight end. That DB had to come. They recognized the DB had to come all the way from the Saints line to the back end toward the Falcons sideline, right? But like they were still set at around 7, 6 seconds, right? So like get off the ball. Get
Yeah.
off the ball. Like even if he's rushed, we still have 6 seconds to get that snap off. Get off the ball, bro. Like it was a little frustrating. Like now, is that on the special teams coordinator for making sure that like the right people are out there in that situation, especially when you did such a good job of executing and getting the spike off? Maybe, but on the same token, I don't feel like that should have went down like that.
This shit now.
Now going into overtime, I'm not gonna lie to you. When Drake went out, it looked like he just got the
The wind knocked out of
was it
him.
a pointer or like the air knocked out of him?
I think it was just he got his wind knocked up because like he got caught like right there.
Yeah, right in the rib area, and I was like, I remember thinking like, oh dang, it might be like a bruised rib or a hip pointer because he was grabbing not well what I assume are his ribs. It was in between his ribs and his hip, right? So I'm like, dang,
He got hit in that soft spot and
yeah,
not fun. If you
yeah. I
ever
was
had the
like,
air knocked out of you,
but
that stuff is not fun.
but when he got up, he was like leaned over and whatnot, and so I was like, that would make me think like, oh, you just got the air knocked out of you,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah, because even because he
And
was mic'd up for that game, and I was listening to the mic thing, and you could hear him like he's like, he's like, ah,
but hey, you get one of those, it'll change you for a second, man.
yeah.
Um, and it looked like, hey, man, he only gonna be out like a play or two, but that's all you needed. That's all you needed. But hey, that walk off touchdown, bro, like that was the stuff of legend right there, man. Like
It was unexpected. Like
100%, 100% unexpected. I remember, and this is a side note, but we tend to do this. We are going to be on time for episodes from here on out, people. We have sponsors that are counting on us. We are going to be on time. Now, to the tangent. Why did the overtime rules change in the postseason, bro? Like, why don't we just have the same overtime rules all the way through? It's really frustrating, right? Because I was texting you and I was like, bro, and we did this. We go live after the games. Check us out on Instagram. Follow us on Instagram. Do the lives so that we can get subbed on YouTube, and then we can do the lives on YouTube right after the games, bro. Follow us. Come on. BOAF Media, pretty much on all platforms. But in the live after the game, I mentioned, I was texting you and I was like, bro, why would we take the ball first? Because just as like a math equation, it makes more sense to give them the ball. So then if you have to score, you have an extra down, right? Like you know what you have to do. Every drive becomes 4 down territory. So like it makes more sense to give them the ball. That's why the Chiefs did it in the Super Bowl versus the 49ers. So I'm sitting here like, why are we giving them the ball? And then he was like, bro, if we score a touchdown, it's over. And I was like, what? I thought both teams get a chance. And so like that is really frustrating that like there's different rules between when it comes to overtime between regular season and playoffs. I would just rather have it uniform all the way through, where both teams get a chance to touch the ball regardless of the game, and then if they both score touchdowns, next possession wins.
Well, I mean, I like the way it is because it makes sense. Because the thing is, like, you don't treat a regular season game the same way you would treat a postseason game, just because a regular season game can end in the tie. A postseason game cannot.
Yeah, and I get that. I get that. That's been the pushback that I got every time I'll try to bring that up. They're like, well, yeah, because a regular season game can end in a tie. And it's like, yeah, I get that. But it makes it like as a fan, I'm like, I pride myself on like knowing the rules and whatnot.
Because like this is how I feel about it. I don't feel no sympathy for anyone that's complaining about this rule because where was it in 2017 on February 5th?
Oh, versus the Patriots in the
Yeah, where was the sympathy then? Where was the both
yeah,
teams? Where was it then? If you weren't saying it back then, I don't want to hear it now.
yeah. And to be fair, it was what? It was the Super Bowl before they faced the Rams, right? Wasn't it? It was the Super Bowl before they faced the Rams where they faced the Kansas City. And it was like what? The Patriots could not stop them. They could not stop Kansas City. But Kansas City equally could not stop the Patriots. And it was like, well, a coin toss decided that game because Pat didn't get a chance to touch the ball. That's the only time that y'all decided to go ahead and change it. But like,
No, they changed it because of Josh Allen.
no, the 13 seconds, right? But I'm saying that's when the chatter started. That's when the chatter started was
Yeah,
Pat Mahomes not able to
because
touch the ball versus the Patriots.
Mahomes
And
and
then
Josh Allen was going at it. Mahomes got the first score, and then Josh Allen didn't get the ball, and he just sitting there just like, damn, that's messed up. I didn't even get a shot.
Was there a game in 2019? Because I
I
know
think
that
that's the
happened in
game.
2018.
Oh,
No, Josh Allen and Pat was 2020
well,
season.
that was the game that got the rule changed. Well, that
That
was
was the
the
game that
I
got
guess
ruled in.
that was the final straw, should I say?
Yeah. And I'm trying to remember. I think there was a game in 2019 as well. Because I know the Pat game happened in 2018. Maybe nothing happened in 2019, but I know that 2018 with the Patriots when the chatter started. And then 2020 is when the rule actually got changed with the 13-second game. So back off the tangent, back to the back to the Falcons. Um, I know versus the Saints, one of the things that you pointed out, like I was pointing out, was like, a win covers over a lot of multitude of sins. Like you're able to overlook a lot of stuff when you get a win. I actually don't feel like we were overlooking too much this game off a win. I felt like our defense was
They
a
cleaned it
little
up.
out of position. They were a little out of position in the first half. They came out in the second half like on
Yeah,
one.
no, and it's those reasons to why I feel much better about this coaching staff because one thing that's been pretty consistent is these coaches will make adjustments based off what they're seeing. They're not going to just sit back and let the same thing keep happening because first half of that game, Baker Mayfield was on fire. I'm like, oh shit, this about to be a shootout, and it was a shootout.
It
But
was a shootout.
they went from 3 touchdowns in the first half to only 2 field goals in the second.
Yeah.
Like so, they are quite adept at making adjustments, and that's probably one of my favorite things about this regime so far.
Something that I really enjoyed from the game is how well that interior held up against Vita Vea.
Well, I'll say the line as a whole has kind of been doing good, but I do think pocket quarterbacks do make it easier on linemen because they know where they're going to be at.
Mm-hmm. And if you listen to linemen, that's what they'll talk about, like some of the, and I've even said it, Kyler, Lamar, they tend to run themselves in the sack sometimes. You know what I'm saying? But
Yeah, because with
I
Kyle,
was
you never know
really
where he's going to be at because he's going to run here, roll there, roll there, roll there. And I'm like, where the fuck did he go? I'm trying to not push him to
I
you, so
don't
where
want to
you
get a
at?
block in the back. I don't want to get a hold. You know what I'm saying? Like, um, but like Vita Vea has been a game record to us multiple times. And so like for them to be able to neutralize him was really good. I don't feel like either end had a great day. What's it called? We had that one pick late, but overall, one of the things because I was critical of him the first 3-4 weeks, and I'm not just saying this because Kirk had what was it 500 yards or whatever. I'm not just saying this because he had 500 yards. I genuinely see maturity in how Zach Robinson is calling the game, right? So like some of the most impressive plays that I saw were like incompletions. You know what I'm saying? Like because like the offense is starting to make sense, and you're seeing that like he's learning from. I haven't seen Ray McLeod on a chip block since. Like, you know what I'm saying?
Look, it's been 2 weeks. Like you gonna
He's
see it again, and you gonna complain again, and I'm gonna tell you to relax again.
yeah. But the thing is, it looks like he's actually like he's seeing. Okay, this is the personnel I have. This is the type of offense I want to run. This is what Kirk can do. Once again, like we pointed out, looked like he had a little zip on the ball. Looked like he had a little smoke to him. You know what I'm saying? So he's getting healthier. Where do I want this offense to go? And it seems like he's got a plan for the offense. The plan for the offense, I'm gonna get Bijan involved in the run game quick, but I'm gonna split his carries, right? Algier will be a feature part of this game plan, right? We're not gonna forget about him. Ray is a tertiary jack of all trades type of guy. I'm gonna put you in motion to be like, so I know what the defense is doing, but like you're not necessarily somebody I'm gonna pass the ball to a lot. Mooney is someone that Kirk is comfortable with, so you're gonna work those intermediate routes. You can go deep and take the top off of defense. But like, I really, really want you to capitalize on one-on-one type of situations. And then London is my dog. That's the one that like when I need a go get it, gotta have it play. Fuck the X's and O's, give me the Jimmy and Joe's. That's who I'm going to. That does lead. It did lead me for a couple weeks. Like, where does Pitts fit in? Well, we saw this game. He fits in on literally the dog level with Pitts or the get open guy with Mooney. Like, I remember coming into the season, you were like, him and London need to be 1 and 1A, right? And we didn't see that through the first 3-4 weeks, or we didn't see that through like the first 3 weeks, really, right? The Chiefs game, this game, the Saints game was standing, but the Chiefs game and this game, you're really starting to see he's viewing Pitts from the tight end position. Obviously, you can't target him 15 times, but he's viewing him from the tight end position pretty much the same as London on the wide out. And that's refreshing to see.
I still need to see more. I still need to see more before I commit to that.
Well, it looks like we spent all these first round picks on guys and we're actually using them.
Well, yeah, but I'm still going to hope because, like, really, it's only been one game for Pitts this season. Like, he had a touchdown week 1, and then 3 catches, and then no catches, and then so I still need to see more consistent utilization from Pitts. Because every game is not going to be like this to where we could just throw the ball this much. There's going to be games where we're going to lean on Bijan and Algier more. It's just happened to be one of those games because I think we threw the ball 58 times.
Which is crazy.
Given Kirk completed 70% of them, which is very impressive.
Yeah.
Also, top hopping passing, by the way. But yeah.
We threw the ball 58 times. We had 86 offensive plays. But yeah. That was bananas.
And I think we still lost the time of possession.
Yeah, we did.
But yeah, like Pitt, I think that Robinson, hopefully he could figure it out with Pitts. But one of the biggest things that I pulled away from that game and that I could probably pull going forward is Kirk Cousins said in either in the post game interview or another interview that he's starting to trust the receivers to be where they're supposed to be, and when you have that trust, it allows you to anticipate better. So it allows you to let the ball go on time, so that hit him in the spot, hit him in stride. Like things, the offense is much better when things are anticipated correctly. So if that is a trend going forward, then boy.
Yeah. How much of that is maturity on the offensive coordinator as to maturity on Kirk's part? You know what I'm saying? So like,
the anticipation's all on Kirk because the thing is the coordinator can't.
Where I may have been looking at it as, oh, the offensive play caller is like immature. It could have been Kirk just being like, I don't trust them to be where they're supposed to be. I don't want to throw a pick.
Yeah, I mean, that's right.
Now, not gonna lie, some of them play calls, we've been back and forth on this. We're not gonna do that.
But the thing is, no off the play caller in the league calls plays that 100% of their fans like.
No, of course,
And,
we're
and,
all.
and the biggest caveat is, if it works, what are you gonna say?
But when it doesn't, it looks terrible.
Yeah, but when it works, what do you say? Oh, that was a great call. But
No,
if it
no, no, no,
but but
no. Because
but if it don't work, it's like, man, why would you call that? It's only a bad call if
me
it
and
don't
you
work.
have had conversations. Me and you have had conversations dating back to like with Ritter, where it's like that was a stupid play call. Yeah, you gained 6 yards. I don't care. That was a stupid play call for that situation, that formation, et cetera, et cetera. So like, you know, I've been consistent on that. I've been consistent on that.
But I
And
just
like I
don't
said,
think Arthur Smith is oh, I like Arthur, but I don't think he's the he's too conservative of a play caller for me.
yeah, Zach Robinson, he let them things swing. He put it on the table sometime. I ain't gonna lie. I ain't gonna lie. And you got a good mix of a guy who, like you said, has been in the league for 12 years, seen a lot. So he knows when to take those shots. You know what I'm saying? So like, it's been an interesting offense. I like it.
Yeah, I ain't gonna say he's no win because Kirk Cousins. Like, my impression of Kirk before he got here was that he was a check down Chad. Nah, Kirk don't like no
Nah,
check down.
nah, nah.
Kirk,
Don't let that playoff thing fool
and sometimes it's to a detriment that he don't take the check down. But yeah, Kirk has been. I don't know. Maybe it's because he got that young slinger behind him. But yeah,
you. Nah, he'll put him up. All right. So great win. We're moving on to next week versus the Panthers.
I'm gonna just get straight to it. I think we gonna beat the brakes off of them, and I think this gonna be. I think we gonna get to see a little bit of Michael Penix.
Okay, I didn't think we was gonna beat them that bad. But I had 34-14.
That's enough. That's enough to put Penix in the fourth quarter.
Ah, maybe. We'll see. We'll see.
20 point game
What
ain't no reason. Ain't no
you
reason to
think we're
keep
gonna
Kirk
see
out
Jace
there.
too?
Who?
You think we're gonna see Jace too?
Does he even be active?
He has, man. He's been active.
No. I think they should just gonna. I think they just use Algier.
All right. All right. So speaking of the Panthers, let's get into it, right? So y'all know I like to look up the coaching staff, all that good jazz, right? So Canales, right? Head coach. Before he was, everybody knows, oh, he was in Tampa last year with Baker. He resurrected Baker. He did all good with that. Before that, he was in Seattle with Russell Wilson, right? In multiple
Well,
offensive
Gino.
roles.
Well,
No,
Russell with
with
Gino
Russell.
too. He was
Yeah.
there. He was there.
He's in
He was
multiple
there. With
offensive
Gino's
roles.
first year.
Yeah, and then he was there when Gino, like he got promoted up to assistant, offensive assistant, whatever like that, assistant offensive, blah, 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 whatever that is. So he was actually like part of the game plan once Gino started, right? So that's what parlayed him into the Bucks job, right? So you've seen kind of Russell diminutive quarterback, Gino big strong guy, Baker he's not diminutive, and Baker's got a cannon on him. Baker got a good arm. And so it strikes me as odd that like he's having such struggles with Bryce Young. But when I think of Russell Wilson and Baker, the two guys who stature wise are closer to Bryce, both of those guys got a pretty deep ball, and Baker has a really big arm. I don't think Bryce's arm is all that good. I
Well,
think
you also got to factor in
anticipation,
Baker's about 2 inches taller and about 20 pounds heavier.
yeah, yeah. Baker got an arm. Baker like you can't take that away from him. Russell, I don't think Russell has a great arm. I think Russell has a great deep ball. Right. So like, and those are two completely different things, right?
Yeah.
So like I feel like when he cocks backs and launches it, he's got really good deep accuracy. He can plant that ball, but like if you're asking him to like drive to the far sideline, I don't think he can do it as well as Gino or Baker, right? And so I think that's part of the reason he's really struggling calling plays for Bryce and working to his strengths. Um, Brad Idzik, That's the offensive coordinator. He followed Canales from Tampa and Seattle. He used to be a wide receiver coach. They got Jim Caldwell as a senior offensive assistant, right? And so, like, you have brains on offense. Right now, they're 29th in points per game, 26th in yards per game, and 20th in rushing. And it's like, is it all just personnel? Or are y'all just bad at concocting a good offense? When I look at them on tape, they are hard to watch. I'm not going to lie to you. And it's not all just Bryce Young. Like, they are a hard team to watch.
Yeah. Yeah. They got issues as a whole that go way beyond the quarterback. I'm really not a fan of the way they're handling Bryce either, but hey, that ain't my franchise, so that ain't my problem.
I don't love it, but I also, if the kid's confidence is being ruined, it's almost better for him to sit
No,
to even
okay,
have a
so
chance of challenging him.
no, so more so what I was talking about in this particular instance was so last week, the game was getting ugly. He put Bryce in the game so Andy Dalton wouldn't get hurt.
Yeah. And like I said, I don't think Andy finishes this game. I think we see Bryce as well.
So like
I think we see
that,
Bryce
that,
in this game. That's why I did the 224 and under. Check out the betting pod. That's why I did the 224 under on Andy Dalton is because I think he goes. We see Bryce again this week.
yeah.
Um, Defensively, they are going through it right now. You got Ejiro Rivera. He's an old D coordinator for the Broncos. He had the fourth best defense last year, right? But personnel wise, they're missing a good bit on defense. You got
You
Dom
traded
Capers
this
on that
you traded
staff.
this alpha pass rusher. So like they really ain't got nothing.
They are struggling, especially in that back end. They're 32nd in points per game allowed. And I mentioned the back end because we got a former Falcon over there coaching the DBs. D'Angelo Hall is their assistant DB coach.
I did not know that.
Yeah. Yeah. Hall over there, right? And one thing that we always used to talk about Hall, that boy, he'll gamble. You know what I'm saying? And sometimes Hall lose. You know what I'm saying? Sometimes D Hall will lose a couple of those, right? So I think this is good homecoming for him. We should torch him up just to let you know you don't go play, you don't go coach for the ops.
Hey man, you go with the bag. I ain't mad at them.
Total yards against, this is where I feel like we're really gonna feast. They're allowing, if I asked you to ballpark, and I told you they're 28th in the league, their yards against, total yards allowed. What number do you think that's at? Just ballpark it. Throw out a number.
Repeat that one because headphones.
How many yards a game do you think they're allowing?
Who? Us or them?
No.
Like total? Or
Yeah, total yards. Total yards.
probably about like 350, 300, 350.
Keep going up.
What,
Keep going
four?
up. Nah, 375, bro. They are getting torched religiously, consistently. Points per game, they're last. Once again, and offense has been down this year. How many points per game do you think they have scored against them?
Against them?
Yeah. How many points per game does their defense allow?
I'm gonna go like 32.
Yeah, 33. 33, bro. They are allowing 33 points and 375 yards, which is even worse when you think about it. With the points to yards ratio, all that like nerd stat stuff, it's like you're like pretty much every first down is going to end in a touchdown drive. When like for the math of it, like if an offense gets a first down on that drive, they're going to score a touchdown against you. That's terrible. That is terrible. Right? Like that is, and the fact that this defense is that bad, they've got 3 interceptions on the year. But they have 6 sacks. They're 29th. We're obviously behind them because we only got 5. But man, I don't see a world in which this defense has a chance at hell at stopping us. Like at all. And I may be wrong, but I don't see any world in which we score. I said 34-14. Like I legit think that's like I'd be surprised if we only score 28-31. 28-31 points, I'd be surprised.
28 is about what 28 is probably what I expect because at the end of the day, there still is an NFL team. Like, and it's a divisional matchup. Like,
Mm-hmm.
so I, I am curious to see how this team coaches with a lead. Um, yeah, I have no idea how they coach. But this also could be the game where the Patriots actually comes alive because we haven't had opportunities to really just pin our ears back and just go.
Exactly. Exactly. Right. We've been in nail biters and we've never taken a team out of like a team not being able to run against us. You think about the Saints, they were running up to the last second. Running was actually to their detriment. The Chiefs ran the ball, got a first down late, and then was able to kneel on it. Um, the Eagles not running the ball cost them the game, right? With that missed play action, and then the Steelers with the quarterback and running back, they were running the ball and they didn't put the ball in the air a bunch of times. I think Fields only threw what 18 or 21 times that game, something
He
really
was like
really
18
low.
for he was 18 for 20, but he only had like 100 and like 10 yards or something like that.
Yeah, so you're not even putting the ball in the air that much, right? So like I think one getting a lead and then being able to be in a position where our defensive stalwarts can like, hey, we're going after a quarterback puts us in really good territory. So you guys, we're gonna move along. We're gonna go ahead next to in division. Currently, in division, the Falcons have swung into first place at 3-2, right? With that win versus the Bucks, next versus the Panthers. Obviously, we discussed that. The Bucks, who we just beat, lost versus the Falcons. They're next up versus the Saints, who are going to be starting Spencer Rattler for his first start of his career, right? So this is all interdivisional matchups for next week, right? Us versus the Panthers, Bucks versus the Saints. The Panthers are sitting at 1-4 after their loss to the Bears, right? Saints 2-3 after their loss Monday night to the Chiefs. If we beat the Panthers, right, you're looking at 4-2. I think I think we'll actually need to win this to keep pace because I think you have a good point. The Bucks are probably going to beat the Saints just because of how senior that defense is. Like, yeah, Atlanta torched them a bit, but Kirk's been in the league for a while,
Yeah,
right? So he's able to take advantage of certain things. Spencer hadn't. One thing I do like about Spencer Rattler, South Carolina is not a super dominant program, right? And guys who come from programs where they got to make a little bit more happen tend to be good with the adversity of the NFL, right? Doesn't mean he sees the field great or he's going to run out of sacks or anything like that. But like, I don't think they'll be able to punch him and keep him down because like he's been in situations where South Carolina's traveling to Tuscaloosa and you got 3 NFL players on your roster and they got 14. You know what I'm saying? So I think he's going to put up a good fight.
yeah. How good of a fight? I'm not sure, but yeah, I mean, there's going to be flashes because there's got to be for the simple fact that they elevated him from third string to starter.
I did think that was interesting, right? Because there was somebody who came in
Hayner,
for Carr. Yeah, came in for Carr, didn't he?
yeah,
And they immediately like Carr's out, and they were like, "Yeah, we're gonna bump Rattler up." So I think that's interesting.
that just shows like they have some belief in him, and I think he's talented. he's going to show flashes. He was my favorite quarterback in the draft. And if y'all see what is during the draft process, I definitely expressed that.
Yeah. You speaking on it a good bit. So one of the things I wanted to point out was the fact of like we probably need to get the 4 wins just to keep pace right now. On the NFC side, I'm not going the whole league, but on the NFC side, you got one team with 5 wins. That's the Vikings. You got one team with 4 wins. That's Washington. And then you got a huge mix of 7 teams with 3 wins. And we're in that category right now. Right? So, like, you don't want to fall too far behind. It looks like this playoff race is going to be really, really tight. I don't expect Washington to keep pace for the full season, but starting off 4-1, like the bottom would have to fall out for them not to get to 9 wins. You know what I'm saying? So
I mean, my prediction is starting to look pretty good about the Commanders. Yeah.
I mean, yeah. Check out the pods with Orange Man, right? Where we went on what we thought the season was gonna look like. You did have Washington. You did have Washington in there a couple times, right? So overall, I think that this interdivisional week is going to be very important. We should come out on top, and I think the Bucks beat the Saints, so we'll need it to be 4-2, right? And our 2 losses right now are both to AFC teams. So, if that stands pat, we don't have an NFC loss yet. So it's very important for us to keep that ledger clean as long as we can.
It definitely is.
All right, last thing, let's get into some city talk and then we'll close this bad boy out. Just wanted to touch on for the first one. Braves lose 2-0 to the Padres. I'm not a
Injuries.
huge bruh. Like I'm not a huge excuse guy, but like we were ravaged a good part of this season, man. And for a lot of y'all that listen to us, we don't talk baseball day in and day out just because like it's not a good for me anyway. My thinking is not a good podcast product day in and day out. I don't have the attention and to detail on it like I would for football or basketball. But like I am a Braves fan. You know what I'm saying? Like I watch the games and there was a good bit of time this year where I thought I think making a wild card with what we were dealing with this season was an accomplishment in itself. And that's not, giving out participation trophies. I honestly think we did a good job this year when we were at one point in time, wasn't it 16 games behind?
Something like that.
16 games behind first, and then we were like 9 games out of the wild card. Like, and we gapped them, came back. So I'm proud of the boys, but I want to facilitate kind of a bigger conversation. We had it last year. Want to bring it back up. That 2021 championship season for a lot of teams is looking more and more fugazi. It's looking more and more fugazi across all sports.
It ain't to me.
So you look at Milwaukee, haven't been out the second round. You look at Atlanta, hadn't been out the second round again. And hadn't been out the second round, missed the playoffs, and then out in the first round. Who won in 2021? It wasn't was it the Chiefs? No, it was the Rams. No, it was the Rams.
No.
Rams. Hadn't been out the first round since then.
I mean, they also lost like a good chunk of that team.
But it's 3 years removed. Like 2022, they didn't defend. 23, they.
I mean, yeah, but you also can realize I don't think I think the following year they were ravaged by injuries, and then the next year they blew it up.
Yeah. I'm just saying that 2021 season.
I'm not a believer in fluke. I mean, if you want to say anything was a fluke, 2020 maybe because of the.
So here's why I don't say 2020 though, right? The NBA season was gapped in the middle, right? The NBA season was gapped in the middle, But like the Lakers were the 1 seed that year, and this is not me on my knees slobbing for LeBron. I'm just being honest. The Lakers were the 1 seed that year, right? The who else? The Nuggets were like the 4 seed, and they ended up meeting in the conference finals. That makes sense, right? Miami was an 8 seed, but they were injured prior to, so they got healthy. It made it like before they were injured, they were a top 3 seed. It makes sense that they ended up in the finals, right? Then if you look at the Bucks and the Chiefs, you had Tom Brady, who was just coming off 2 years prior being in the Super Bowl and took a terrible New England team to the playoffs, goes down to Tampa, has Mike Evans, Chris Godwin, all this on that defense. And then you have Pat Mahomes, who's just coming off a Super Bowl. So like, and who's since then been consistently good, right? And then it's basketball, football, and MLB, you had the Dodgers. The Dodgers won that year. Right? And who they face? Was it Houston, who's been to like 8 of the last 9 ALCSs? So
The
like,
Braves weren't in it. I wasn't watching, so I couldn't tell you.
yeah, so it's like 2020 made sense. But if you look at 21 had a lot of the shortened seasons, had a lot of the injury because like there was a rush to finish the 2020 season, and then there was like a mix of people taking off and all this other stuff. Like that was the year for the Nets experience and all this and that. So like it 100% was COVID. People want to look at 2020 and be like, that's the season COVID affected. COVID really affected the 21 season for a lot of these teams, which is why I think a lot of these teams hadn't been back. And I just think it's real interesting that the Braves, that's the one World Series we're kind of clinging to, because that's our first one since like 94 or 96, whenever that was. And it's like, dang, was that a fugazi? Because we can't get back. Now, granted, a World Series is hard, but we ain't been back to NLCS. We lost in the NLCS to the Dodgers in 2020, and then we won in 21, and we ain't been back to the NLCS.
I mean, it's only been what 3-4 years. I mean, we're still in the playoffs every year, and then like we just fell off like a bad bagger. Nope, we still are a good team, but injuries are a thing. This year, injuries did them dirty because I think if that was the team, I think they was gonna make some noise.
I'm interested to see how this plays out. That's one of my theories I just kind of hold on to because I see it played out over and over. We're running up against time. I don't think we'll call the other two. I don't think we'll call the other two topics. But I did want to just give a brief announcement. As you guys heard, we joined Fans First Sports Network. Very excited about that. With that comes the need for more content, right? And we will be doing our best to make sure that we get out great, good analysis, good content weekly. You guys, please subscribe to the feed, the YouTube. Jesus. Please subscribe to the feed on Spotify or Apple. That doesn't change. Subscribe to the YouTube page, Instagram, TikTok, Twitter, X, whatever you want to call it. And you'll see that we should be having a steady stream of drops for you guys. Some new show ideas that we're cooking up, some new some one-on-one talks with maybe some rival teams, podcasters and whatnot. So you really big things, really excited about what's coming up. You guys really just tap in, tune in, and appreciate you guys for sticking with us. I started this pod like 3 years ago. Took a year off, brought Taj in last year, and we just continued to grow. And we only grow because of y'all. And you really appreciate it. Thank you for listening. So this has been your boy Q City.
Your boy Taj Bravado.
And we out.
Peace.